Hello, Exiles. This is Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming, and welcome to another Path of Exile video. Uh, in today's video, I'm going to talk about my hopefully, or was supposed to be, Immortal on a Budget Juggernaut. My dream was to make a build that for under 10 divines would be able to tank Ubers, and unfortunately, I wasn't quite able to get there. I was getting pretty close. I feel like I was pretty close, but yeah, I've tried a bunch of Ubers. I've gotten pretty close to killing a lot of them, as you saw in my last video, but I wasn't quite able to do any of them. I have been able to double my DPS since the last time, but yeah, it's still not quite enough. I had to get rid of some tankiness in order to increase my DPS that much. Not much tankiness, but even like 10% tankiness to double my DPS, definitely decreased my ability to do some of the content. So, yeah, it was a bit of an interesting project. I think that this build, if I invested like 100 divine into it, I could definitely do it. But right now, I'm probably wearing about 9 to 10 divines worth of gear. I looked into similar DPS maces, and they're about 2 divines, and like, a lot of my other gear isn't worth much. Like my gloves and helmet probably aren't worth much of anything. My chest is worth like 5 divines. A Dawnbreaker, you can get a decently rolled one for pretty cheap. This is a suboptimally rolled Eternal Damnation. These things are a dime a dozen. I've gotten like a million of them. And then, yeah, most of my stuff is relatively cheap overall. So I have some cluster jewels and everything, but they're nothing like, maybe 25 to 40 chaos a pop. Like this one I just got was 40 chaos with a rend and flow of life, which was quite nice. Definitely boosted up my DPS quite a lot. I still have some upgrades I could still make within my constraints, but not much, and I just don't personally see that it's worthwhile doing so. However, I am going to leave the POB in the description because for less than divine, some people would be happy. This can make it to and sometimes beat Wave 30 Simulacrum. It can delve pretty deep. I went down to depth 300 or so, and it could probably go a lot deeper than that. It doesn't map particularly fast, but you can get some nice juicy screen clears if you run either Asenaths or Hemophilia gloves. So you can kind of get to that point where you can clear comfortably. I also had this other shield to swap that gave max all res in case things didn't do a lot of physical damage. But yeah, overall, I would say this experiment was slightly successful. A lot of people for 10 divines would be happy to have a character that can comfortably, without risk of dying, be able to do all the content except Ubers. I've tried every Uber boss except Cortex so far. I've heard Cortex is the easiest, so maybe I should have started with that. But I haven't been able to do any of them, really. Like I said, Exarch was kind of borderline. I think I could have got Exarch for sure, but and I've got really close with Uber Shaper as well, but everything else was a bit off. Actually, I probably could get Eater of Worlds if I was a little more practiced at the fight. But the positive news is I am a ton better at those fights than I was. Being able to practice, like the Exarch, I am able to dodge the balls really, really well now compared to before. Shaper, I've gotten a lot better at managing the different phases as far as like where to place all the balls. I can get them usually all into like kind of the corners of the map. A ton of those fights I'm just way, way, way better at now. So that's kind of how it starts, and that was kind of the goal. So in that regard, I have gotten a lot better on that. So what I'm going to do next, I am going to bench this character for now, but I may come back to it once I have a decent amount of currency to invest. Not counting the gear I'm wearing, I probably blew another 20, 30 divines, trying to make this character work, going through various combinations of gear and everything. So Honestly, it's almost a little disingenuous to say that it's a 10 divines, although if you just straight up bought what's on it, that's about what you would pay. Um, so overall, I would say, yeah, I'm benching it. I have a bunch of different characters that I do want to do going forward. I have another Sandstorm Visage character that I'm very excited for. There's a combination that I don't think anybody has really thought of. So if you're interested in seeing that, don't forget to subscribe. And then also, I have another Frostblades character that I'm very interested in trying. In fact, two, one of which I've already kind of tried, but two that I think are very interesting, and one that I think is potentially extremely powerful. And then I also have another interesting kind of totem build that I'm looking to get at. So, yeah, if you want to see any of those, I'm sorry if this was a build you were interested in. Like I said, 10 divines still to be able to clear pretty much everything except Ubers is pretty solid, but I really wanted to make a character that could tank Ubers for less than 10 divines. I might, when I go back, explore like the block spell block thing a little bit more because I didn't do too much of that. But other than that, I think I've pretty much exhausted every possibility. And I did try that. It's just at the time, I don't think I put it together as well as I could have. But it's a lot of points to get into it. So, yeah, either way, I hope you enjoyed this little mini series on this character, even if it wasn't, it didn't succeed in the way that I hoped it did. I am going to hang out with some friends tonight and tomorrow. So I'll probably be back tomorrow night, and I'll start working on a new character, possibly more exciting, definitely a lot more damage. And yeah, it's not going to have quite the same goals in mind, but you know, it'd be nice if it could kill Ubers. I will have to make an Uber character that just doesn't brute force them. Sorry about the train. But anyway, that's pretty much everything I had to say. Hope you enjoyed. This has been Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming, and I will see you next time. Bye.